Hello, everybody. It is Friday the 13th in September, and we're doing AI and nonsense stories for the end of your cursed week.
And the curse might be that we all become dependent on a certain kind of technology, and then it gets yanked out from under us, unless we're willing to pay these insane prices.
OpenAI's next generation models could reportedly cost $2,000 a year. Sam Altman-led company's new artificial intelligence models such as Strawberry and Orion likely won't be cheap. They had better be orders of magnitude smarter, because what I can run on my local machine, which admittedly is very expensive, can run really well. And so it'd have to be miles better than those.
That's a one-time cost, though, compared to this every month.
Well, at $2,000 a year, it's not going to take a long time to pay for that system.
So Strawberry is presumably the reasoning upgrade for the AI, which will be a separate system that looks at the GPT output and reasons, at least I understand it. Orion will be the next GPT. So they're confident. I don't think that this economy can withstand that. Or is this just another, like, the plebs eventually will not get to have AI? Is that what we're looking at here?
Yeah.
But like you say, people will figure it out.
Then what's the business model?
The convenience of having them do it in the cloud is not high enough to make me pay $2,000.
What if there's an insane deflationary spiral where everything collapses and then no one's buying anything and then...
Your eyes kind of went blank there for a minute.
Well, how do you introduce AI to the plebs who don't understand it? How can you make them comfortable with it, even though it's destroying the economy and their jobs? How can you make them excited to buy it, even though it's maybe not as great as everyone made it out to be? Well, there is one guaranteed way.
Oprah's upcoming AI television special sparks outrage among tech critics. Wow, Oprah's really dialed back the clock about 70 years.
Is she even relevant really anymore? Because she just has her own network now. Like, she's not on regular TV very often.
She's a juggernaut, though, when it comes to the housewives, right?
Not anymore. I don't know anybody. Like, my age is now becoming the housewife age. None of them watch Oprah.
Well, I don't know. They're excited about it. It does. Well, you know what? Actually, she probably didn't pitch this idea, right?
Yeah, they probably came to her and she was like, yeah, I'll take your money.
Who can we find to sell?
You think Oprah's really passionate about AI?
Well, I don't think she's passionate about anything she's sold us over the years.
You know what I think is replacing Oprah, though? And I'm really surprised there hasn't been somebody like Claire Saffitz or one of those put something together like this. Is the beginning of the week is like, here's your meal plan for this week. This is all the stuff that we're doing. Here's your Amazon Fresh order. Click this. And then the next video is like, here's your Amazon Fresh order that came in. This is the thing that we're going to do. Here's all the meals we're going to make for the entire rest of the week. This is how we're going to manage our groceries.
That's pretty popular, like, on recipe YouTube.
Yeah.
But, like, none of them are integrated with, like, a shopping plan necessarily. They'll give you, like, a list of what you need to buy.
They're integrated sometimes with delivery and pickup from, like, Walmart or whatever.
Really? I've not seen that on the channels I follow.
Yeah, there are a couple of people on our forum that run their whole lives, and it's a little scary, but I'm surprised. I'm a little jealous of the efficiency, but scared to death of the machine, because it's like, oh, I just, this is what we're going to do this week, and it's like I eat wonderfully, and it's great, and I only had to do like 3 hours of prep on Sunday night, and then it's like 30 minutes a day, and it's like I've abdicated thinking about it in exchange for all this extra free time, and I just love just following the formula and getting it done.
But what you're describing is influencers. And we'll talk later about a great reason why you should not listen to influencers.
Store.level1text.com.
But first, let's talk about medical benefits and why you are going to die in pain and unhelped by the modern medicine system.
Judge rules the $400 million algorithmic system illegally denied thousands of people's Medicaid benefits.
I can believe that.
The government hired a company to try to figure out medical fraud in Medicaid, and so the company was just like, all right, we'll just deny everything.
This was in Tennessee, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
But we all have this.
Yeah.
And this is a result of the Affordable Care Act, which, whether you agree with that or not, I think we can all agree that from a software standpoint, it was a disaster. And we're still suffering from the effects of it.
The people that they hired to do the software were not actually capable of doing software, which is terrifying.
And we all knew that this was coming. I thought it would take longer, I'll be honest, but here it is. And also, let me just preface all of your thoughts about this. Put this in your head. 27,000 pounds a year.
UK's first teacherless, quote-unquote, AI classroom set to open in London. It is not exactly teacherless, but it is a private school, and
You
they
have
are
coaches.
they're using AI to teach a lot of classes.
They mentioned they can't do art, and there was like a few other things it struggled with, but like I think science and math and stuff like that are going to be all AI.
Now, you
AI's not good
could,
at math.
you know what? You could pay the $2,000 ChatGPT subscription, coach your own kid, and pocket that other $24,000. Like, why not?
It's wild that you could sit down and do a prompt with ChatGPT where it's like, I'm going to design an education system for my kid, and then you like build the software with ChatGPT in a summer.
And should stupid people enabled by AI get to participate in ways that they don't currently because they're too stupid? That's the argument here.
NaNoWriMo, I guess is how that's pronounced, is
I've
in
always said
disarray.
NaNoWriMo. I actually don't know.
That's right.
Yeah.
Well, oh yeah, that's a good point.
Is in disarray after organizers defend AI writing tools. So this one really blurs. I was like, okay, AI writing tools, that should be fine. And then you read what it is, and it's like, oh, this is like a lot
literally
of
want
content generation.
Yeah, they just want you to generate off novels. So I know a few writers, and most of them have been like, yeah, I'm not doing it this year because I don't want them taking my writing. Like,
There's a great quote in here that's like, all brains don't work the same, and all brains might not be capable of writing these kinds of things. And AI can help bridge that gap, and they can be included. But it's like, so you want AI garbage content?
well, yeah. So the other thing too with this is that I think it's like 50,000 words in 1 month. That's the goal of doing this whole project. If you just generate the words, is that really like, does that really meet the goal? Like,
Not all brains have the same abilities. Yes.
And the ones who don't have it shouldn't be part of the writing thing, should they?
That's like you think the guy that is going to jail for 15 years for saying that he was a train engineer should fall under that. It's like, oh, we shouldn't fault him for not being an engineer because he had the AI tool that would short him up to make him an engineer. And it's like,
but he didn't measure the train.
Sure, he's an idiot, but we have to let him play with the trains, right? It would be wrong to send him away.
I mean, do you think in our lifetime we will see the benevolent AI? It's like, this person has dreams of being the train engineer, and I'll just put them in a sandbox and manage the train engineer for them.
Yeah. I mean, we do that for politicians' kids, don't we?
Yeah.
They have money though.
Yeah, well, those will be the people who get the special treatment, right? And this is something that's becoming more and more common, is where you simply, I mean, we hear about the AI that denies you coverage. Why not take an AI to fight that AI and just do that forever?
The San Francisco Standard's headline is "Make Your Health Insurance Company Cry: One Woman's Fight to Turn the Tables on Insurers." So they've developed a tool to generate letters to appeal rejections from their insurance company. And it's effective, 90% effective. They were even able to use it to, they have pet insurance apparently, and they were able to use it to appeal denials for their pet insurance.
We did a story about how doctors have this, but it's not super widespread yet. This allows you, the person who's actually sick, to do the petitioning.
Now, you talked about the pet insurance. I think the real star here is this dog. His name is Professor Timbit. And I think he's the genius because he has managed to turn the whole dog collar situation around.
Interesting.
Did you see the puppy downstairs earlier?
No,
It's a good dog down there.
in the building.
Yeah.
And this one, I saw this headline everywhere, and I was like, how exactly does that work? Did you get the idea that this was basically just a light sensor?
Yeah, well, yeah.
That's a little overblown.
Engineers gave a mushroom a robot body and let it run wild.
It's also not quite running. It's kind of just hopping around.
It's a mushroom. There's a mycelial network. They're using the oyster mushrooms.
Yeah.
And so the mushroom normally would want to move toward light, I guess. And so they built it a robot body that can actually move it toward light. And it kind of learned in quotation marks, how to drive the robot body, even though it's a mushroom.
So the idea here, and I guess it makes sense, is like you could have, because what's that word?
Mycelial
Mycelial.
network.
Mycelium is like, it's everywhere, right? All in the dirt. maybe you could somehow use that as a sensor for things being weird in a certain spot.
Yeah.
But it's not really operating the robots.
But it's like, oh, the mycelial network is kind of like neurons are connected together. And it's like, that's a bit of a stretch.
And this story, I think the powers that be are behind this push of like, we don't want to talk about politics. Anything to do with politics, we can't mention that, which means that our oppression of you must never be talked about, even if it's people who are not even here anymore.
The headline is Bethesda bans a Doom mod about a resurrected mech-demon, Margaret Thatcher, because apparently it's a bit too close to real-world politics.
First they came from my Margaret Thatcher mod, and tomorrow they come from my Shrek tank mod.
Are there any lawyers in the house? I think this is interfering with an interstate commerce nexus. Bethesda has no need to insert itself in the middle of the commerce transaction between a mod creator and a mod enjoyer.
Well, that's not quite what it is. You can still get the mod, but Bethesda put together like a greatest hits pack. There was like a new Doom version that came out or something. I remember it was on Xbox Game Pass. And they removed this from that because someone complained that it was too political. How can you live with yourself if you're that person? At NPR, they're losing a lot of listeners. People do not like the hyper-partisan of any kind of CNN, Fox News, whatever. I think people are getting tired of that. And NPR is trying to figure out what to do about it.
NPR enlists a quote-unquote joy czar to generate sunnier stories.
The term czar kind of like takes the joy down a little bit, knowing historically how czars operated, but...
It's real easy. NPR just needs to add a nonsense section every Friday.
Yeah.
And then I hope you all know that even though we're a little dark sometimes, the light is that we're all in this together.
The light is the nonsense section where we can all laugh at how absurd everything has become.
I'm never exposed to commercial television, and this past month I was a little bit. And I noticed on ABC, they advertised their morning show as like, we don't need that news, we're just having fun. You know, like
Yeah.
they're trying to get that audience.
That used to be, I can't remember, there was Kathy and something, and they would just drink wine in the morning and then like talk about nothing, and that was like the after news program. It started at like 10.
You know what would be joyous to me? That it was shrined in federal law that I could back up my DVDs to my hard drive and just format shift them. I'm just interested in format shifting. That would be a joyous occasion.
You're going to get us demonetized for saying that.
You're not allowed to talk about that.
Would you say it would be as joyful as Christmas? How about mandatory Christmas?
Maduro decrees Christmas will start in October as Venezuela cracks down on dissent. This appears to be a distraction move. It was not very effective.
Christmas parties are mandatory.
They pointed out that because of the mass arrests after the protests of him winning the election, which some people think might not have been fair, many of those people will be in prison during Christmas this year. Both Christmases.
Also, kind of disrespectful to Halloween, if we're being honest.
It's true. The real Halloween enjoyers are going to be crushed by that.
Yeah.
Also, what's Cracker Barrel going to do?
I think they have a lot of Cracker Barrels down there.
Probably got a couple, right? And this was a hilarious meme that turned out not to be a meme. It was a real thing. And it's real disturbing.
Commander of Navy warship relieved of duty months after backward rifle scope photo flap. So they told us this was photoshopped badly. It turns out that may not have been true.
Definitely was not true. And he is gone now.
He didn't notice?
I mean, there's a lot of things wrong there with his posture, not just that the scope is backwards.
Yeah, he might not be the best man for the job. He's been replaced. And
I'm glad you added this one. I was going to add it too.
Local interest. You
Local interest
gotta have
story.
it, right?
Suspect in UK campus robbery says it was just a prank for YouTube, citation says.
But they did take the money.
Yeah.
Just a prank, though. Just a prank.
I don't think it was a prank. I think that was a felony.
I think he introduced it as a prank in order to distract them so the second guy could come up and put the gun in their back.
Mm.
Yeah, so.
Just a prank, though. It was a prank gun and a prank robbery.
And this is hilarious because I think people are so on edge and they're so ready to be outraged and horrified that they won't let you finish your sentence. The wrong think is called out before you can even get to the end.
Meme mix-up lands a Colorado City middle school 6th grader in cuffs for a terroristic threat.
I love this quote. Krista, you're hipper than us. Do you know what this is from?
What's the quote here?
The quote is, so he said, my main goal is to blow up. And that's where she was just like, no, ring the alarm. You're a terrorist.
That's like not even that new. Like
No.
it's like saying like, yeah, blow up on like YouTube or TikTok.
But
Yeah.
here's the rest of the quote. I love it. My main goal is to blow up and act like I don't know nobody. So like, I want to get rich and ignore all of you.
Yeah.
That's not a
So-
terroristic threat.
No,
Yeah.
and that's just a misunderstanding.
He was arrested for that.
What's this article?
I was like, I wonder how much of this they're going
They
to show me
show
on the video.
They show a lot. Just FYI.
You see the drops coming out. I mean, they have a tiny circle that's blurred out, but it's worth a watch.
I really think they should have gone with the subheadline, Porch Pooper Strikes Again at Same House. But homeowner says there's a man that continues to allegedly
I don't
poop.
think it's allegedly.
The video's pretty clear
Could be a deep fake, right?
on his porch in Old Louisville. So
Another local interest story.
is this some sort of neighborly feud? Like, what's happening?
The best part is he squats
Yeah,
and
yeah.
he drops and then he leaves, and apparently that was premature because he comes back and drops another deposit.
Did you listen to their commentary? They called him the poopatrator as well.
This is also maybe an advertisement for Nest, which is terrible. You should not get a Nest doorbell cam. This is ridiculous.
He looks right at the camera.
He does, yeah, he knows. It's really an assert dominance kind of move.
Also, there's no attempt to clean himself at all. Yeah, he's going home with a dirty butt. And over in China, they had the whole one-child policy, which led to some unintended consequences with the gender divide. But apparently, those feelings are still very much there.
Shoppers in China snatch up bottled water rumored to boost chances of having a son. Because, the tap water could lead to a daughter or a son. Not your fertility, but they want a son rather than a daughter.
This is pH. It's alkaline water. They claim it's been proven that's not the case, but a lot of people on Chinese social media are like, oh, I'm having a son. It was definitely from the alkaline water. So now this is sold out everywhere. And it's cheap, too. It's only $4 a case.
I thought you were going to say $4 for a bottle, and I was like, what?
This is Exhibit B, and a lot of people are going to want to censor the internet because we're too stupid.
Well, then this will be Exhibit C.
Man chugs 24 ounces of ranch in 10 seconds at Belding competition.
USA.
Oh, it's just straight soybean oil. Oh, so nasty.
It'd be so salty, too. You'd be so dehydrated afterward.
I don't want anything to do with that.
Let's have a ranch dressing smoothie.
I was so happy I was able to get one extra animal story right before I sorted this week because I didn't want to end on this one because this one's sad.
Beloved Russian spy whale, quote unquote, Hvaldimir,
Hvaldimir.
found dead under mysterious circumstances. And I love the name because the Norwegian word for whatever kind of whale this is HVALD, which is kind of like Vlad. So it's sort of a play on Vladimir, but it's Hvaldimir.
Was he the one who was following the boats around?
Yeah, and he would retrieve your cell phone, and it seems like he was gunned down by a machine gun.
Yeah, they said we don't have any official. They're going to do an autopsy, but some people said that he had bloody holes all in him.
This is why NPR needs a joy czar because
This is not
this story made me
This
sad.
is not joyful at all.
It's very sad.
But he is going to get.
This is also the whale that was seen with a radio harness that said property of St. Petersburg.
Yeah.
And he was alone. There were no other whales with him. He was scheduled to be relocated to the other whales like next week.
It was a hit job.
He couldn't tell his secrets to the other whales.
I guess.
Yeah.
That's insane. But not as insane as our next story.
Which is hilarious. Now, I don't think it's right to be giving wild animals or your pets Taco Bell.
A fed bear is a dead bear.
But this is hilarious.
Bear cub driven by two men from northern Ontario to Windsor fed Taco Bell because they were trying to deal with the bear themselves. And this story goes out of its way to tell you if you're having a bear problem, there's a whole group of people in Canada that will help you deal with the bear properly. Taco Bell need not be involved.
I assume it's probably their version of animal control.
I so wanted you to say, if you're having bear problems, I feel bad for you, son. What's hilarious here is they found him in the middle of the road, and he was apparently disoriented. But they're not sure if he got hit by a car because there was nothing wrong with him. But then they drove him 10 hours. And they got him to the rescue, and the bear rescue looked him over, and they're like, well, this bear is suffering the effects of being afraid for 10 hours.
That's how I feel after eating Taco Bell, too.
Yeah, I do be like that.
He'll never be able to get that level of flavor in his life ever again.
Oh, what a weird thing to think. It's like when people talk about, like, imagine giving a medieval peasant a Dorito and, like, how that would change their life.
You know, but it's interesting because the Pakistani guys are, like, kind of that.
Yeah, yeah.
And sometimes they'll give them things that we like, and they're like, this tastes like medicine. You know? And I'm like, you know what, it kind of does. Dr. Pepper does kind of taste like medicine.
But at this point, they've tried so much that it's probably...
I thought Dr. Pepper was literally medicinal and like...
Well, it's got that cherry kind of like cough syrup flavor.
When it was first created. Maybe not. Engagement challenge, like the origin of Dr. Pepper in prose form.
You might just be thrown off by the fact they called it doctor.
That's like the what was it, Dr. Schweppes or Dr. something or other was just cocaine. It's just cocaine water. Is all
Dr.
It was.
Thunder is the Walmart brand.
I don't think it's been reported that has cocaine in it, though.
No.
There would be a lot more sales if it did.
Yeah.
I mean, Coca-Cola originally had cocaine, like, for a while.
It sounds like are we circling into Cocaine Bear here? Is that what we're saying? Like that's the way, if
I
you
watched that
encounter a
movie
bear.
recently. It was not good.
Oh, shocking.
Krista's, you watched that, but you haven't seen any of the classics.
I was with friends, and they're like, let's watch a movie, and then they put on Cocaine Bear. So, like...
You could derail that by just saying, I haven't seen, and then just name any one of the other movies that we said, and then all your friends will be like, oh, hell yeah, let's watch that instead.
Anyway,
we'll see you next week.
bye!